Hello, everyone. This is another Freedom to Feel conversation, and my guest today is the beautiful Liv Wheeler. She is an initiated Kontomblé voice diviner, ritual facilitator, multidimensional spiritual teacher, founder of Earth Amulet School, the author of With the Love of the Ancients, My Spiritual Journey of Remembering, and also the creator of the documentary the remembering. So this is my brief introduction to you, Liv. We have been talking off record, having some meaningful fun. The question that I love asking everyone, and lately this question changed. I've been asking for about 5 years now this same question, but it just changed. So I will ask you with this, that movement, with that color that just came to me about 2 weeks ago. Um, how would you introduce yourself without labels? Who are you in this very moment?
That's a great question. Yeah, thank you so much. It's an honor to be here with you, Valeria.
Thank you.
Beautiful Valeria. Um, will you say it one more time? How would I introduce myself without labels?
Yes, yes, yes.
That's a beautiful question.
Yeah.
Uh, I would say, in my essence, I feel playful
Mm.
and
Huh.
um, I think it would be describing an experience that in my essence, I feel a sense of playfulness and curiosity, and I love to swim through the depths of the
Mm.
ocean of humanity,
Uh,
and to explore. And
yeah.
yeah, and loving to stream the current of love and the many expressions. I love to dance in the waves of love. But yeah, that's a beautiful question.
Yeah, that's a beautiful answer. Yes. In a way, almost like in the first moment, you became almost like a mirror, this very pristine kind of reality that I could see myself in it. That's so fascinating. It's almost
Wow.
like this reflection. Um,
Wow.
so when it comes to this idea of self-realization, a lot of people conceptualize, this as something that you get to, a destination, a moment in time, a static kind of experience, even an experience for that sake. How would you describe that? What is to know what you are in essence?
Yeah, you ask beautiful questions. You ask beautiful, deep questions. Going deeper. Yeah, the experience of self realization to know the deeper aspects of oneself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I experience it as a quest, a quest, like being on a quest or in a. It's you could say being in the question, but it's the way I
Mm,
experience it is being
mm,
in a sense of being in
mm,
the
mm.
quest of yeah, self-discovery is
Yeah.
that it's um, an internal process largely of sensing and feeling and being in the dance or the
Mm,
question of the quest, but it's something honestly that I feel like I've been dancing in for a lot of my life and continue to explore. It is a beautiful exploration. Yeah, I think it's such a beautiful quest is to understand the depths of the what makes every soul unique, because that
mm.
is something that I love so much, and sitting with
Huh.
any soul, all souls, is to sense and to feel into the uniqueness of their soul,
Yeah.
and to feel um,
Mm,
like what makes Valeria Valeria, so
yeah.
that maybe 10 or 20
Mm,
people that know and love you would say, there would probably be something similar that all of them would say, like, I love this about Valeria.
right.
And even if it was expressing love, it would be the very
Mm,
special, the unique way that you express it that nobody else does. It just comes through just the beauty of your heart.
mm,
So the journey of self actualizing the self is to, yeah, I feel it's an ongoing process, and to it feels to me, the way I experience it is a little bit like alchemy, is
Right.
that
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
we come in and have these ways that we kind of get programmed,
Mm,
programmed by our families, by society in these different ways. And I experience the process of
mm,
being actualized in the authenticity of one's soul
mm,
is to go through, and kind of like it feels like kind of like a weaving or an alchemy that happens in the cauldron of the soul. Is like, okay, that's not who I am, but who am I really? That's not actually who I am. That's just um, that's a pattern that I've experienced, or that's my mom, or that's my dad. That's not actually me. So the actual, who are we actually? Is that beautiful? Feels almost like
mm. Yeah.
I love kind of alchemical drink, something that feels like medicine. These beautiful like herbal concoctions or something like that.
Yeah.
And sometimes I wonder, why do I love these so much? It
Mm,
feels magical.
mm.
And I experienced that in the process of alchemizing,
Yeah.
alchemizing our experiences to feel, oh, wow, that feels like
Mm,
the deeper truth of who I am.
mm.
So, yeah, it feels a little bit like soul alchemy to me.
Yes. Yeah. Wow. I love that. I never heard it that way. So is this ongoing kind of dance movement is not static in any way. That's beautiful. Yeah, to hear because I'm a student of Vedanta, which is a Hindu philosophy
Mm,
of very deep. You probably are familiar with the Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishads. So I have
mm,
been very close to that tradition, just trying to kind of understand first via through knowledge. They very much they're big into knowledge. So how come
mm,
how can this be what this world seemed to be very animated, the earth and all the beings, but it's coming from something that's not a thing. So how can things come from non a non thing? Humans come from something that's non-human. So that
mm,
always intrigued me in the sense of finding the deeper reality that holds the animated world. That has
mm,
been, for some reason, it fascinated me when I came through that this concept, which now has become more of a knowledge, a powerful knowledge, knowing that
mm,
what I see and what experiences, all these are just experiences, the body, the mind, thoughts, all that, memories, the world in itself, Earth. But really, it feels more like a dream, kind of, that we
mm,
are in a dream reality, which is it's relative. It could what is real here? So that's one of the questions that when I started with my own journey, it just came to me powerfully. What is real? And then kind of evolved into
well,
what is truth. So show me the truth. What is the truth of this moment, of this body, of this mind? What's the so is that something that I want to go back to your story actually and kind of connect those two questions. Can you talk to me about how you came to this powerful realization of what you are, um,
mm,
and then going back to this truth type of thing, and so how do you dance between those two worlds, visible and invisible? Is there one that
mm.
holds truth that's true to you more than the other?
You ask powerful questions. You really ask
I,
powerful questions. Um, Yeah, because I've heard, and it feels true to me, that the universe responds to our questions.
mm,
It's a matter of we
yeah,
need to be willing to ask the question,
yes.
and then the universe will respond to us. You ask really powerful questions that feels like they open up realms.
Mm,
And
mm,
yeah, it's incredible, these questions that you ask. And where you're speaking about the Bhagavad Gita, and I'm a long time yoga lover of yoga,
mm,
practice yoga. And well, it's recently that I was reading Patanjali,
mm,
uh, and realizing just in some of these very seemingly, excuse me, seemingly basic statements, whole. I mean, you could just
Yeah.
sit with
Yeah.
the, excuse me, the way that that was shared, and something about the way it goes into the distillation,
Yeah.
the awareness distilled, or some
Mm,
process of it being so distilled that it is so medicinal and timeless,
right.
and feels like what you said too, so true, these questions of what is truth. And I feel that we
Yeah.
are in this time of souls awakening, that suddenly souls are awakening, or people are being called into, I experience awakening as there are deeper and deeper realms of awakening. So I don't feel it's just one expression, but that we can continue to awaken, as you said, can be awakening from the dream,
Right.
awakening from this dreamscape, or what is this, and that there are so many people experiencing what this is right now as so many different things. It feels like there are so many humans in the conversation now of, what is this? Is this a simulation? What is this? That so many people are asking this question now is powerful. I feel like that's speaking to maybe the influx of solar flares and this light from the divine lighting up our um, our biology, our bodies, our beings, and maybe that light, the sun, is actually, yeah, connecting us to the divine. That is actually the divine, and so it's lighting up the divine being in us that is increasingly so more and more curious of. Is this a dream? Is this a simulation? What is this? What is this? And yeah, these questions that are helping us to orient into this the experience that we're having. And I do feel the questions that we're asking, or the way that we relate to it, the way we're relating to it, like we were speaking before, do we relate to it from our head? Are we relating it to it from our body? Are we relating to it from our heart? And however we're relating to it is going to um, is going to affect how it's communicating back to us. Just as, like, when you and I are connecting, and as we feel safe and comfortable to connect to each other from our hearts and share deeper aspects of our essence, then whole new, aspects light up. And it's,
Yes.
yeah, it's a dance, just like what you said too. You and I both have that in common. I feel like we have
Mm,
experienced life from the dance.
yeah.
And and that, yeah, I feel that's also kind of a feminine way that we're
Mm,
dancing,
yeah.
dancing in the mystery, dancing
Mm,
maybe in the
mm,
dream, dancing ourselves
mm, mm,
awake,
mm. Ah, yes, yes, yeah. That's I mean, beautifully said. Dancing ourselves, yeah, through the mystery, because the mystery cannot be known, cannot be seen, cannot. Yeah, that's so we in a way we are dancing within or in the mystery. So we just kind of we're already in it. So it's not something that's, in a way, there's no mystery because it's already here. We're already in the
Mm,
middle, in the midst of it, in the middle of it, which is,
mm.
it's very in a way paradoxical, isn't it, Liv? Then
Yeah, it's interesting that you said in the midst of it too, because mist, sometimes the quality of mist is sometimes referred to the so-called hidden realms. And you and I were sharing
yeah.
before about our love of
Oh,
water.
water. Yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah, yeah, exactly. Just as
yeah.
you were saying
Uh,
that, yeah, we're in it, we're in the midst of it, we're in the midst of it. And also, again, I feel inspired to say it's how we're relating with it, because
mm,
there's a way that we can, just like with the universe, the universe could also be said, it's like a
yeah,
dance with the mystery.
yeah,
And I find that the way that we relate to it, if we trust her, I experience the
mm,
mystery as feminine.
yeah.
If we trust her, if when she's putting out her hand and saying, "I have something to show you.
Mm,
I can't tell you what it is just
right.
yet, you'll need to trust me.
Mm.
But I promise you it's going
Yeah.
to be beautiful. But
Yes.
it's going to require trust, and you're going to be walking through the darkness,
Mm.
and
Mm.
but you're in good hands.
Yeah.
And then there's the part of us that might say, but well, how do I know you're to be trusted? And you look like somebody that's let me down before, and I need to know exactly what's going to happen. And she might say, um,
Mm.
trust is required.
Yeah.
For you to find out what's over there, to go from here to there, trust is required. I
Yeah.
can't guarantee you anything.
Mm.
Trust is
Mm.
required.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, yes, a billion times to that sense of being guided. And that's something that we
Yeah.
talked even off record. And it feels so powerful that within my life, since I was very little, always felt like I was being guided by something. And then
Mm,
it moved from the sense of trust, because I remember asking them, can I trust you? Yes. But then now it's more like being patient. I think patience, that's what I hear back when I ask the questions. Is this the right direction? Am I going the right direction? Or how can I get there? Because I already feel like I am in the right direction, but it's not happening quick enough.
yeah.
Patience is what is the voice. I love the way you say about the feminine. You see
Mm,
that you're being guided by, yeah, a force, a power that's feminine. So
mm,
this is really the perfume of your work. It's all over
mm,
it, like your website, everything that I read about you. It's just so clear that you're being
mm,
guided by the divine feminine, as we say,
mm,
as a concept, though, because I feel those powers and those energies, but I tend not to choose sides. So I love the
mm.
being in the middle in a sense of
Yeah,
nurture as much as I
nice.
can. Yeah.
That's beautiful too.
And having the masculine and the feminine kind of
Yeah,
having them doing really that they are really the song, right?
beautiful.
Both of them together. So can you describe your work?
Absolutely.
How do you teach people to be in this beautiful place of peace, of balance, of harmony with
Mm,
oneself and kind of um, hmm, and kind of in a way connect with the song of the earth, of the
mm.
universe? How do you do that? It sounds like magic to me, but yeah, talk to me about
Um, well, for one, I love that you say that you don't essentially that you don't like to take sides, and
yeah,
I appreciate that. I think yeah that you're saying that that's the kind of the merging of the
mm,
dualism where it's going beyond this or that,
right,
feminine or masculine. It's both together, and then it's something so much greater. And I feel that is for
yeah,
sure the ultimate truth.
yeah,
And when I start the day, and when I'm saying thank you, I experienced the divine or the ultimate as masculine, feminine. So honor mother, father, God, and I go into these practices. So in my personal practices, I absolutely do honor both, but also my sense is in the ways that I'm being guided in this lifetime, and
yeah,
probably influenced by that I'm a Libra and guided by Venus.
mm,
And so there's just yeah this strong feeling, and have been dedicated for 20 years, I would say, to the a big part of my work has been yeah supporting the healing of the feminine, the feminine wounds, the competitive energies
yeah,
and envy, all these things that separate
mm,
or that
yeah,
convolute or obscure
yeah,
the true, I
mm,
feel, majesty of the feminine, which is inherently so the how could we say the distortion would be maybe, or the shadow could be one woman is competing against the other, seen as something against, where I feel the actual truth of the feminine is that we are naturally together, that we would know that because it's that whole
yeah,
aspect of the together energy and
yeah,
the woman birthing
yeah,
babies and
yeah,
bringing actual creation into the world
mm,
physically even.
mm, yeah,
um, so that's what I feel, yeah, generally or in essence about about the feminine in my experiences, that with a greater perspective, maybe like a bird's eye
Yeah.
perspective, is that my sense is that there, let's say if I'm doing my purpose over here and it's primarily focused on the feminine, maybe some is over here feeling called to focus on the healing of the masculine.
Yeah.
So ultimately, my sense is that if we're all doing what we're here to do, it is ultimately
Mm.
supporting balance
Yeah.
in the greater all
Yes.
perspective. That's my sense
Yes.
in the universal, the dance of the universe, the
Mm.
dance of the cosmos, is that, and I do feel that we're in a time
Yeah.
currently on Earth, a time of balancing, of ultimately bringing things into balance. This
Yeah.
great transformation that's happening, I feel, is ultimately seeking to restore
Mm.
balance. And at some point, yeah, then it would feel, and maybe it is my Libra nature too, that when it feels that there's a lot of that already happening and there's the balance there, it wouldn't, I imagine it wouldn't feel so much of
Mm.
um, a strong calling, because
Yeah.
it's responding to the greater cosmos, in a sense, of the greater universal energies that guide us.
Mm. Yes. 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 A billion times to that truth. Um, and I love the way you clarified that too, and you explained about them. I mean, that you, not that you just agreed with me, but it's something that's it's very obvious if we look close that wholeness is it's wholeness is wholeness. It has to be
Absolutely.
that completeness. So female, male, not just one side. It might be
Absolutely.
live because of the imbalance, right? So we are coming from the patriarchy. So now we are going the other way, kind of full force to
Yeah.
find, yeah, to go back to balance. Is
Yeah,
that,
exactly.
I think that's what
That's
it
what I
is.
feel, and I do agree with you. I do agree with you. I actually, in my experience of different spiritual traditions and spiritual truths, I think I agree with most of them. Is that the
Mhm.
way I
Yeah,
perceive is that it's all true simultaneously.
yeah.
That it's, they're all, just as you said. The
Mm.
whole perspective is that it's maybe that flower of, I think that's the flower of life that's
Yes.
behind you,
Yeah.
and it's maybe little parts of the design that is making up the whole. I do agree with you, and I do
Right.
agree with the perspective of we need both. It's both sides of the brain, and I experience it increasingly so. The yeah, that they're trying to, yeah, experience holism.
Right. Yes. That's it came to me in the flower of life. Like we talked briefly off record that a lot of my mystical experiences, they remained mystical. I really, in a sense of the mystery, I didn't try to learn about them like while I had the intuitive guidance or thought. I just let it be what it was. Like this flower of life
Yeah,
just came to me. A thought came and said, "Ah, the flower of life," and I felt attracted. I resonated with the design
yeah,
without knowing why, but it felt really,
absolutely.
yeah, it felt like it was a calling. So yes, and then I go into the with my curious mind trying to understand what
Yeah,
that means. Like, what is the meaning of that? Yes. So everything's the parts, but everything's interconnected. There's nothing that's separate. So we
yeah,
the mind does that, and because in a way we are, like I mentioned, I really feel like we are being letting the mind be the master. You probably have heard that before. So many people have heard that before. So we are not really being guided by the wholeness of
mm,
life. We are just
mm,
kind of being
mm,
just seeing parts of life in attaching here and there, just the parts of it,
mm,
and calling it truth. And you're right. There is because everybody is in. They are where they are, as some people say. You can't really make a tree grow overnight. We cannot make it that. So we are nature too.
mm.
So it kind of will grow when we are meant to. Is that something
Yeah.
that you also tap into when you with your clients or the people that you work with? Like being ready for change, for that growth. And how do we know, Liv, when we are ready for more water and
Yeah.
more of that sun in order to grow?
Yeah, you and I really speak a similar language, a similar soul language, because I experience it like that too. Yeah, that we are nature, we are nature,
Yes.
and I do experience different people like just like that, like flowers or
Ah,
trees or different ones, and some of them might be a cactus, and they'll say like, "I don't want more water, just
yes.
leave me alone. I'm just here with the sun,"
Yes. Yes. Right.
and yeah, and it's the way that I've been guiding souls, yeah, is to try to sense into the essence of their soul and to support that, and that's where I see my job, if you want to call it that, or my role is
Mm,
to. That's what I'm aiming to do is to meet their essence,
right.
and and um, but I do feel it's true what you said too, is they really have to be ready for it, or their soul has to. I've learned that lesson on my journey is to maybe we learn that in our families or
Yes.
something. We can learn that in relationship
Yeah.
where it's like honoring the sovereignty. I'm saying that like not necessarily pushing
Mm,
on somebody to grow or applying force,
yeah.
but understanding that
Mm,
that they need to be ready. And sometimes even they'll say that they're ready, and sometimes even they'll say that they're asking for it. But actually, there's other messages that you get from their being that said, actually, I'm not ready
mm,
and I don't want this.
right.
And so that's an interesting thing to navigate is when that's something I learned along my journey too, is to if you're just meeting the surface and what they're saying, they might be saying one thing, but their energy might be saying something else. So to follow the different cues, and what you could say that's
Mm,
trauma, that trauma that we accumulate through our lives or something like that.
yeah.
And yeah, I feel yeah, there's many layers and facets to it, but I do feel that it's um yeah, that they've got to be asking for that, or that they'll let one know. And and then there's sometimes when it feels like they're ready and they're just really ready, and then yeah, the growth can happen so rapidly that the soul was just ready to. and
Mm,
it, and I do experience that right now actually with a lot of souls, that
yeah.
maybe it's through a lot of the difficulty on earth that they'll say like, okay, I want peace, I want to grow, I'm ready.
Yeah. I
I
understand.
don't want that, I want something else, I'm choosing it now.
Yeah. Yes. I feel the same way. Yeah. So is that something that, yeah, that's fascinating too, right? That we are all, because we are so connected to everything else, there's no disconnection here. So we are all feeling this movement. There's something happening. And it's
Isn't
quite
it? Don't you
powerful
feel
though.
that?
Yeah.
You
It's,
can feel that, yeah?
yes. Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, yeah, I was telling you I'm in Bali currently, and there's a place that I like to go here called Pyramids of Chi. That when you come to Bali at some
Oh,
point, maybe we'll meet here in Bali. Then
yeah.
I have a feeling you would love this place.
Yeah.
But they have
Mm,
the owners, yeah, they had a vision and
yeah.
created these pyramids here. It's like sound healing and everything. I know it's amazing. That's so interesting, right? When I just started connecting
Mm,
with the energy, then all of a sudden I got taken on a different train of thought.
mm,
What was the last thing we were just talking about?
yes. And
We
me
were in
too.
the,
I just,
that's so interesting. I just got so into the energy around the pyramids. I was
yeah,
like, wait a minute,
me
that's so
too.
interesting.
Yeah, me too.
Uh,
Yeah, now I'm
yeah, we were
connected with that
talking about
energy,
it.
and yeah,
That's
that's
so funny. It just totally
hmm,
has its own force field of its own, and then all of a sudden,
yeah,
well, anyway, maybe yeah, you'll meet um,
yeah,
the owners there, the people at the pyramids of Chi. It's a beautiful, yeah,
mm,
beautiful place, and it's a good example of people following their guidance the way they're guided. Just as you said, with the flower of life
yes,
behind you, that
yeah,
you don't know why, you
yeah,
just have this feeling, and something tells you, I'm just going to trust this.
yeah,
And then later you might look up, well, what is the flower of life about? What is its
mm,
symbolism represent? And that, but yeah, when I talked to the owners there, that's what he had told me. This man, these beautiful souls, he just said, I think it was 11 years ago, that he
yeah,
just had a vision come in, and they were planning something else. He and
mm,
his wife, they were planning to retire. They had no plans for anything like this.
Yeah.
Seemed really far-fetched, and
Huh.
yet they oh, because we were talking about awakening, the awakening that's happening on Earth, that's right. Because I was saying you can really feel it, right? That's
Yes.
how it was connected to awakening.
Yeah.
And so they followed this, vision that seemed far-fetched, completely unrelated to their lives.
Uh,
And because they did, at this point, when I go visit there and I experience some of the healing there, so
mm,
many people are receiving from it, and a lot of people that are going through their awakening and have all these questions, they're just kind of opening up, and they're able to go there and continue to experience these
mm,
expansions of consciousness
mm,
through yeah, sound waves, sound healing, different modalities that I feel are going to increasingly so be more, I guess you could say, the wave of the healing of the future of Earth, this
mm.
new Earth.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's really magical, like what's happening right now. Because when I talk to somebody that's I have because I interview a lot of people, tons of people, and I know a lot of people all over the world, and then some of them are in Bali. And then we were talking the other day, and then I showed it. I think I talked to you off record about this. I have Kauai came to mind,
Yep.
Hawaii, so everything came together. The flower of life, Kauai, and then uh, this
Mm,
building that was it's based on the principles of the flower of life. So the flower of life
mm,
basically means that it's a finger it's the blueprint of nature. So everything that
mm.
nature creates, it's almost like it has a template. So the flower of life is a template for it. And that's why it was in Egypt. You see that the flower of life there, and you see the flower of life in so many other areas in the world. It's so ancient, this symbol. So,
Yeah.
but it's fascinating when he said that to me. He said, "Wait a minute." I showed him the drawing, and then he said, "Oh." Because I had this vision, it came to me in the vision, and I just showed it to him. He's in Bali.
Wow.
He said, "Oh, there are some pyramids here too, and they were
Oh,
created." And then he talked to me about everything that you're saying. He said
that's
to
so
me,
funny.
and I'm like, "No, you're kidding me." Yes, and there was a vision too. It was, but so what
So
I think that
interesting.
so what's happening, Liv, is that it feels like the
Wow.
soul of the earth is calling. Um,
Mm,
us to acknowledge her, to
wow.
to return to her. It's there's something about that's what it feels powerfully within me when I go in nature, when I put my head on the ground. It just feels like home. I said to you off record, and now it's like this huge,
Mm,
powerful pull. Like it's almost like not just to be in nature because I love being in nature, but it's almost like working with nature, being one with nature in everything
mm,
I do. So this
mm.
healing platform, this whole platform is online. So the idea is to bring it to that place, to a place like that, but in a very sacred way that connects
Yeah,
back to nature. So isn't it funny? And you're right. It feels like we're just being touched by that power, and it's
yeah.
calling so many of us at this time, and we are just kind of
That's I
blossoming like
know, and it's so interesting that synchronicity that you spoke about, because I was like, why am I'm feeling really called to talk about the pyramids of Chi. And then were you also, if you don't mind me asking, do you feel a connection with Egypt? Because it feels like you also have that past life energy of Egypt.
Well, I have heard from other people, but I never done any past life
Yeah,
regression about that. And because I love the mystery, remaining a
yeah.
mystery, I kind of don't try not to intellectualize too much, know
Yes,
too much, because I also love the unknown, so, with the mystery.
yes,
So I just kind of whatever comes to me as information, I just kind of take, and it's okay. And but I
yeah,
try not to go too deep into it, because
yeah,
then it's almost like it becomes too the magic of it.
yeah,
Is being stripped out of the
yeah,
mystery. I don't know. It
yeah.
feels that way, but it seems like you're sensing something that might be related to this what's
Well,
happening.
it feels it's just kind of what naturally is flowing. But what we were talking about before too, when you were mentioning Kauai, it was naturally
Yeah,
seeing this healing center, which I hope it's okay that I'm saying this
yeah,
now.
yeah.
But that. when we were talking, yeah, before we started recording, yeah, when you said Kauai, and it just was, yeah, that's why I asked you, do you have a healing center? Because I felt
Yeah.
you
Huh.
with a healing center. And so, yeah, with the flower of life and everything. And as you said too, with the earth and the way the earth
Mm,
is calling us. And as you were speaking before, you were mentioning the website and you were asking about Earth's amulet
mm,
and the word
amen.
Earth's amulet, that name was given to me by spirit. And I don't usually talk about why that name, but when I was connecting with spirit about this recently, and so this idea that the amulet is a kind of like
Yeah.
a magical device or something, and so it's Earth's amulet, and who is Earth's, or what is Earth's amulet, or who is Earth's amulet,
Right.
and I believe that's humanity,
Mm,
humanity that is choosing to be um,
yeah.
in support. It's a way that the human being is going through this process of transformation. The new,
Yeah.
it almost feels like a
Yeah.
new humanity or something
Right.
like that, that's rising from the ashes, like the
Yeah.
phoenix rising. And it's, so Earth's amulet, something that's worn around Earth's neck, is that
Yeah.
we are that, we can be that in
Oh,
our
I do have.
allowing our
Yeah.
kind of supernatural
Oh, yeah.
abilities to come online, and being supportive to the earth in the magical ways that we do and that we are, that it feels completely connected to what you're speaking about, this sacred geometry. And
Mm,
sacred geometry is not something that I naturally understand, but
right.
I feel a lot, I connect with a lot of souls that are connected to the sacred geometry. And
Yeah.
there's something about that ancient knowledge, again connecting with the Bhagavad Gita, these like
Yeah.
ancient Sanskrit, these ancient texts, the ancients that
Mm,
I believe are here with us now still, and
mm,
guiding and helping to recover maybe some um, knowledge that's part of the human consciousness, that can support a way of life, of being with the earth, that
mm,
is of grace and ease, and what people speak about kind of as fifth dimensional energies, that is like, it's like the flower that opens, the flower
mm,
of life that
yeah.
is opening and opening and opening, in the ways that we be with each other, that encourage our flower to open.
Mm, yeah. Ah, beautiful. Yes, 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 yes. A billion times I usually say about that. Yes. So is this the ancient wisdom that has been forgotten? That's what it is. And I love the way you talk about remembering a lot. Even your book, My Spiritual Journey of Remembering, your documentary, the Remembering documentary. So it's something that it's here but has been forgotten, and then that's
Yeah.
why remembering is really important. Those amulet, I love that as a symbol. So when you said anyone, everyone who is in touch with their own hearts, which is it's very simple, isn't it? I noticed that the heart's energy is so simple. It's really all of it's all it wants is to love. So when and it
Yeah.
feels like everything's part of it. It doesn't create any separation. It kind of loves everything, and it wants to
Yeah.
be in harmony with everything, naturally, without trying. So that's what it feels to me too. We it's a call to return to that, to the energies of the heart, to the wholeness of life, to our divinity, to our sacredness. And
Yeah.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, what you were saying about remembering too, that it feels like what you were speaking about, the wholeness, the integration, and I feel that we naturally are multidimensional souls, that we have our higher soul that's of source or connected to source, and
yeah.
we have all of our the multidimensional aspects of us that I experience it as the where we think a lot that, or we're kind of trained to believe that knowledge is
Mm,
outside in, that it comes from a book or something external and gets imprinted onto us or into us. And then there's another way that's sourcing from the inside,
yeah.
trusting what's inside, and trusting our way, that, yeah, when we kind of follow those the aroma of the flower, something that it just feels right somehow, is that I
Yeah.
don't know why I'm just being called to go this way.
Mm.
And I know that when I follow that
Mm.
feeling, there's a feeling. And when I follow that feeling, magical things happen.
Right.
And
Right.
yeah, so the remembering is that, yeah, it's this kind of I guess you could say an idea or a concept too, that it is already inside of us,
Yeah.
and that it's a lot of times I do feel it's more of a matter of releasing that
Mm.
which we are not, just releasing,
Yeah.
releasing. It could be, let's say, if it's in regards to the body, that we're cleansing, or we're detoxing, or we're doing this process of shedding what we're not,
Right.
and so we can feel greater aspects of what we are, the vitality of our blood and our nervous system and everything that
Mm.
feels so
Yeah.
enlivening. And you just, yeah, you feel it in a certain kind of way. The remembering
Yeah.
is saying that, yeah, it is inside of us, and that we can trust in our heart to guide us of, like, wait a minute, I remember this place, I remember this soul,
Yeah.
you know
Yes. Yes. Yeah. That's it. And that could happen in one moment in time, in a second. It could happen just right here, right now. And sometimes it takes a lifetime. That's interesting how it depends.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it can take a long time. So you have so many offerings, Liv, so many beautiful offerings. So I'm
Thank
wondering
you.
where to get started. If somebody wants to engage with your teachings and with you, um, how do they choose? What's the best way? Do they listen? Yeah, I would love to know that, because I feel when I see all these options, in a way, I want to
Mhm.
try them all. But then, is, do you have any suggestions when it comes to, yeah, choosing?
Yeah, yeah, I appreciate that. So we were talking about this before. So what's kind of new that I'm doing right now is
Yeah.
Earth's Amulet has been an online school for some time now, and
Mhm.
I've been teaching more in a live kind of way, I guess you could say. So
Yeah.
people generally would go through an application process, and then if they were part of the offering, then it would be more of the live teachings. But right now, I'm kind of pouring or distilling. I'm in a distillation process of, I would say, 20 years of being in ceremony in different parts of the earth and with different
Uh,
people, all these experiences, kind of distilling it, a lot of it, and my connection with the spiritual dimensions into teachings that are available. They're being made available. It's just now happening, coming into the end of this month. So the first one is going to be a 7-day ritual, kind of honoring the divine feminine within, that is kind of the I guess you could say, kind of the archetype of the priestess, like the priestess energy. And as women, that we're cultivating our being in these different kinds of ways that are cultivating the sacred. So
yeah.
starting with that, and then I'll be sharing all of these different teachings, which I'm really excited about, because this is now getting to share it in a new way. And then we also have a priestess training that's happening partly online. And then it kind of, I guess you could say, like the culmination of the experiences is in Mexico, and in this beautiful retreat center. And I think currently we have 7 spaces
Uh,
available still for that. But
oh,
um, yeah, and people are, well, they're welcome to join the newsletter list if they want,
yeah.
um, and they can email us and ask any questions. Sometimes we get questions, people message about um, things that they're seeing or sensing, the ways that their spiritual energy is opening up, and yeah, and so that's also helping to guide to the courses that I'm creating, to understand what people are needing support with right now.
Yes, yes, I see that clearly too. So there's for me has been this the question. It's not even a question, but it's a confirmation type of thing. Looking when I meet people, what they say,
Mm.
it's almost like a sign. Yeah, looking for the signs one at a time along the way. So that's very
Yeah,
helpful.
totally.
And everything can be found on your website, right, Liv? It's earthamulet.com. Is that where
Yeah,
everything?
everything can be found on the website. Yeah.
Wonderful. So I'll have here on the podcast notes. I wanted to read something that I I found on your website, I thought it was beautiful. You say, each day I'm blessed to wake enlivened by the energy of the breath of existence. I will continue to pour my heart into my love letters to life. Thank you so much, Kontomblé, for teaching me what a true blessing it is to be alive. I mean, this is beautiful. What, yeah, you have. It's a note of appreciation, gratitude. I love that, and I love the way you talked. I listened to you speaking with another person interviewing you about if I can pronounce is that his name? Let me see if I find it here. I love that you said something. If I can find it, yeah, Malidona Some. I'm trying to
Yeah,
Ma-
Malidoma.
Malidoma, right? And you said, I honor my long-time teacher Malidoma Some, who remembered me before I was able to remember myself.
Hmm.
And that just stopped me for a while. And I paused for quite a long time here. It was so, I mean, beyond words, even what you expressed here. Who remembered me before I was able to remember myself. So, in a way, we're speaking of nature itself, aren't we? Earth. And it has not just remembered us, but has been caring for us for all this time. In
Yeah, you get right to the heart of it.
Isn't
When you
it?
say it back to me, it kind of makes me cry. Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like the power of that. Like, wow.
Yeah, he's on the other side now, and I stay connected to him.
Mm,
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah, it's interesting. Energy is like there's so much energy there that I felt it from all the way over here, and I paused for. I was reading about preparing for the interview, just reading. Then I paused for a while, and then
Mm.
in this state of grace, really, and I didn't know
Mm.
exactly why, and it's almost as if, yeah, it's just I have to leave it that. It's just that the mystery again, but the presence, that presence was felt, his presence, and I don't even call his because it felt universal to me. Yeah, very universal.
Yeah, yeah, he's a beautiful, powerful soul,
Mm,
and yeah, yeah, deeply impacted me in the lives of so many, and
yeah.
continues to. Yeah,
Right. Yeah. Because that never ends. Yeah. Never goes anywhere. It's always here.
yeah, and it's that feeling or that sense that you had when you were reading that, that I'm imagining there's a good chance that you're feeling his presence, and
Mm,
um, yeah, it's powerful because it's beyond the lifetime, and maybe it has to do with a stream that we're all of and connected to, and I do have a path of devotion. I feel like you felt that, and
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yes. Right. I did feel that. Yeah. It's very
yeah,
clear. I
devotion.
mean, to me, it's very clear. Very clear. Very
Yeah, it's like what you were
pristine.
speaking about too. I think you do the, or you had done the flamenco dance, and there's this
Uh, yeah.
passion in this, this way that I do very much relate to it, that it's like
Mm,
I'm here doing this thing, and I'm pouring my love into it, and it's, yeah, it's a devotional for me myself. In my spiritual journey, I do have like a devotional heart, and so it's like
mm,
devoted to um the healing of the feminine, or the
mm,
healing of humanity, the healing of my own soul, or devoted to
right.
um bringing doing what I know how to do to
Mm,
make way for more love in the world, or doing what I know how to do to make way for more grace,
mm,
and to, yeah, what you're saying too, like the Vedanta path of the
yes.
reconciling of the opposites,
Right.
which feels so important right now. The reconciling of, it seems
Yes.
like, no,
Yes.
it's this or it's that, and it's like, well, actually, it's both.
Yes.
And when we can allow those energies that seem
Mm,
at odds with each other, and just allow them to make friends with each other again, then something so
mm,
much greater seems to appear or blossom. And also, we can remember that we are already held by that
mm,
thing that has already blossomed. We are that soul blossoming, like you said too, the the becoming, the actualizing, the remembering. I was like, oh my God, I was
Yeah.
whole already. I didn't even know that.
Right.
You
How could I
know?
miss that, right? How could
How
I
did
have
I
missed
miss
Wow.
that?
Yeah. And that's it's beautiful the way you talk about the devotion part of it. Yes. They cannot, they don't go, they go hand in hand. So again, it's about wholeness. So it's knowledge of truth, knowing what the truth is, and then you can't help it. After that, you just like you speaking about pouring love, then
Yeah,
that's what the nature of devotion is. So it's love, love for humanity, love for oneself, love for everything. Now you're just in
yeah.
love with life and
Yeah,
you
exactly.
just love the whole thing.
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
like this great lover, everything is just
Yeah,
yeah, it's beautiful.
exactly. Exactly. You totally get it. Yeah, exactly. You totally get it. It's
uh,
exactly that. And when you're talking, it's like I see these red roses, pour into
mm,
your etheric field. It's like it's that. It's yeah, the lover is life in a sense. It's like
mm,
being in love, and
yeah.
not in a way that it has to be.
Mm,
Yeah, that it's just like, yes, it's all that.
yes.
It's dramatic, and it can be intense, and it's beautiful, and it's all of that, but allowing ourselves to feel it, and
Mm,
to be in it and of it.
yeah, right. And that's the has been my own journey. Kind of, they call in psychology integration, but I don't know if that's healing integration of parts. And
Yeah,
basically, what we are doing is trying to bring the infinite and the finite right together, kind of the limitless with the limited, body mind
absolutely.
limited. So it's not for the faint of heart. It has
That's
been a gosh,
that's so true.
been easy.
That's so true.
It
Not for
has
the faint of heart. That's so true.
oh yes, it requires yes, almost like uh, the gathering of the powers, the ancient powers. So that's what I'm calling now a lot of times by being, and that's one of the things that I kind
Huh.
of stayed away from in a way, rituals and ceremonies,
Yeah.
because it felt like I was kind of devoted to parts of life again. So every time I put too much energy in one thing, directed to one thing, it feels fragmented a
Mm.
lot of times. So maybe that's why I kind of stayed away from rituals. But then I do have my own ways of doing that every day anyway. I
Yeah.
just go into my own space. But then with the earth, I would love to ask you this question. So, is this something that what the earth is calling for us to do? I mean, doing things, more being than doing, really, right? It's just
Mm.
uncovering our true nature,
Mm.
so we can
Mhm.
just love nature as it has been loving us. But
Mm.
when it comes to in practical ways, ritual ceremonies, how does
Yeah.
it beyond the energetic? Expanding our energetic field and kind of being in touch again, our souls being in touch with the earth soul as a living being. Uh, do you also speak of practical ways, like silly ways, like eating organic and not,
Yeah.
reducing plastic and all those things? Do you
Yeah.
engage with that too?
Yeah, so wait, were you speaking I want to make sure I understood the question. So will you say the question again?
Oh yes, when it comes to the rituals connecting with
Yeah.
the earth, and there's so many ways of doing that because I see the beautiful sacred space that some people create, and
Mm.
it's almost like the offerings, right? You have all these
Yeah.
flower. I mean, I have seen some beautiful ones, different ways of doing it. The fire ceremony, I have so many different ones. But my question is how. I know the earth responds to that, but is that also asking us to embody in a silly way, but in a practical, silly
Mm.
way, to eat organic?
Yeah.
Like, do we do both, or do we kind of do some? Some of us just lean towards the rituals, and they don't really
Yeah.
they don't think about the plastic, the trash that's out
Yeah,
there.
true.
So how do you do
True.
that? Is that yeah? I would love to hear from you. How do you see those two sides again?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I mean, our focus can be excuse me, on one or the other. That some people's focus, yeah, exactly, is on the plastic side of things, or reducing plastic on earth, and then others, yeah, maybe lean towards the, and I think they can be integrated
Mm,
beautifully. And my experience of ritual and ceremony is that it cultivates the sensitivity that that does it does.
mm,
I would, or I do notice plastic or pick up plastic,
yeah,
that I do see it again as integrated. And what you're saying too, I think it's always just following and trusting how one is being guided. As we're speaking about guided, guided, some people just aren't guided towards ritual and ceremony, and it's, there's no need to. It's just like to trust however your soul is guided.
yeah,
um, the way I experience it, so for example,
yeah,
with the rattle that's here, this rattle here, the way I experience it in a very, let's say, like a simple way of connecting, or if I was connecting with the earth, and just in a very simple kind
mm,
of rhythmic
mm,
way, I experience it as, you could say, all inclusive, in the sense that when I go into the practice, let's say
yeah,
if I'm connecting with my healthy ancestors or something like that, or my guides and guardians, as I rattle, then I'll notice that I'm moving from uh, the mind that is the analytical mind,
yeah,
that is cutting things up, that is dissecting, and it allows me to enter into more of the unified field.
right.
So it's kind of like a gentle way of entering into the unified field. And then what you were referring to about the offerings in Bali, I want to say when you come here, because I just, that's the way it comes in, is when,
Yeah,
I mean, if when, but I feel like it's when you come here, is
yeah,
that
yeah,
you would see there's offerings being made everywhere. And my feeling, or my sense, my experience with offerings is that it's tending to the essence, the ether that we are all
mm,
experiencing in the day-to-day reality. And so my belief when I'm here, and also a reality that I like to cultivate, is tending to that etheric, the ether, it's like the in the air we breathe, it's the air that we experience, is what's the quality of that energy.
mm,
And that we can, it's a way, just as somebody can tend to a garden or do these different things, but there are energies that are always influencing us, that we can participate
mm,
in and with, that is for the well-being of the whole, that
right.
is for the sense of connection,
Mm,
love, generosity,
mm.
uh, just a good energy. When you just feel good energy, like that just feels like good energy, you
Yes,
know? And
yes,
sometimes you feel energies like that doesn't feel like good energy, you know?
yes,
Um,
yes, I agree.
yeah, but as we are speaking about too, I haven't been to Brazil before, but I understand in different cultures, I mean, there's different relationships with ritual and ceremony,
Yes.
and how the person be with it. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so that's a little of what I feel about that.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you for saying that, clarifying that. And I guess I asked the question also because I have seen that since I was very little in Brazil. They had the Iemanjá is this,
Yeah.
oh, her, the
Ocean?
queen of the water. And when it was her time, it's a time to honor her. I remember they
Mhm.
put a lot of different kind of objects in the water, on the water to
Yeah.
just, and a lot of some of that, it was just plastic in
Yeah,
toxic things. So
absolutely.
that's why when it comes to that, I'm always kind of also very kind of aware of it. Wait a minute, that's a
Yeah,
contradiction in a way, because we are honoring the sacredness of the Mother Earth,
absolutely.
but then we gotta a kind of, in a way, we have to be more detailed, more kind of careful, mindful with the things that we offer. So yes,
Absolutely.
I don't know. That came to mind when I saw India too. I have seen
Yeah,
that, right. Some of the rivers they are highly polluted and
absolutely.
intoxicated. So
Yeah, I think, yeah, and I feel maybe that's the part of maybe the divine design of all of it, is that your soul,
mm,
your awareness, your understanding is having you notice that in these
yeah,
souls. So
right.
if there's the
Yeah.
integrated approach, the integrated approach could be,
Uh-huh.
hey, did you notice that? And let's say if they were open to hearing that and said,
Yeah.
oh. Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that. That's
Right,
just the way it's been done, and so I
right.
wasn't even thinking about the
Mm,
impact of that on
right.
the ocean.
Yeah,
And so that's what I feel. If people are just kind of open
yeah.
to receiving each other,
Mm,
then it doesn't have to
mm,
be
mm,
these people are over here in this camp and these people are over here in this camp, but that there's actually sometimes the person they're just not
mm.
even conscious or aware of that. And to
Right.
the other person who has consciousness of that, it seems so obvious. It's like, I
Yes.
don't understand. Why would you do that? Of course, that's a contradiction. You're
Right.
loving the queen of the ocean, but
Mm,
you're putting a pollutant in her. This doesn't make sense to me.
right. Yeah. I
Just like
remember, yeah, that.
the signs of the zodiac, and maybe to the Virgo, like you're saying, the detail-oriented one to the Virgo, and then, maybe you have the Leo over here that's like, "Well, let's be with the sun." And,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
everybody's in a different experience, like, "I'm being joyful," and didn't notice, this little
Right.
detail over here,
Right.
and the Virgo's like, "How did you miss that detail? It's so
Yes.
obvious," you
Yes.
know?
Yes. Yes. Yes, that's it. And I love what you said about, yeah, being open, right? If we can be open
Yeah,
to listen to one another and being guided by one another too, in a sense.
yes.
If I'm coming from love, then
Absolutely.
oh, that's wonderful. If somebody else is coming from love too, everybody else, and then we just kind of, oh yeah, I didn't see that.
Yeah,
That
just
makes
didn't
sense.
see that.
Yeah, let me make
Yeah,
that change.
absolutely.
Right. I don't know. I think that's it goes back to um the unified field again. It's wholeness. So
Exactly.
is the top of the mountain view. So you kind of able to see things that make sense for the whole. It's never about a part, me or that or that.
Mm,
It's about the whole. Wait a minute. So can we carry rituals? Can we live in a way that's beneficial, doesn't harm anyone, and that's
mm,
kind of within it's within that uh, the well-being song of life. So it's not really
mhm.
outside of that. Can we do that? So that has been
It's
my quest, and that's why one of my podcasts titled "A Quest for Well-Being," because that was
Oh, you said the quest. Oh, that's so funny. I was wondering why the word quest kept coming in. Okay, yeah, the quest for well-being. Yeah.
yeah, has been that came to me too. So so it goes back to that, isn't it? Live openness, being open to be guided. It goes back to that fundamental message, isn't it? Open to
Yeah,
be
because yeah, just as you said, it's like, can we
guided.
live in a way that's not harmful? But for one person, what would seem very harmful for another person. Well, let me say, for an example, some people eat meat, some people don't eat meat.
Yes. Yes.
And to the person that doesn't eat meat, they might have very strong feelings
Mm,
about why they don't. And to the
mm,
person that does, they
mm.
might have strong feelings about why they do.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, and maybe that's part of I hear as far as if we call it an earth school,
Yeah.
this is part of the dynamic tension that's inherently a part of it too. Is there's it can be feel like a rub. It's like, oh, what do we do about this?
Yes.
Especially when there's the strong feelings, and especially when a person believes that they know for another how they should live,
Right. Right.
then it's like it can be a
Mm.
strong rub. And I've talked to people, friends, I've had friends through the years that they were on the vegan path
Oh,
for very what they would see as ethical reasons,
yeah.
and that was their truth, and they were really 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 trying to live with that truth until their body was saying, I can't do this any longer.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I have a particular stance one way or the other. I'm really not saying that. It's just naturally what kind of
Mm.
arose. But
Mm.
it's just an example of people that would maybe consider themselves part of a conscious or conscientious communities, spiritual communities, where the desire, the intention is maybe to live in it in an evolved kind of way or steadily evolving, but yet maybe bumping up against, okay, well, evolve from whose definition?
Yeah. And when, right?
Who's
The timing
defining
thing.
this,
Yeah.
you know?
Huh. Mm.
Who's creating the parameters?
Mm.
And you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
do think that somehow there
Yeah.
is a kind of like a dynamic tension that is inherently
Mm.
part of the dance of creation
Yeah.
that we're all a part of. And it's like, and I'm not saying I have any answers about that.
Yeah, I was about to ask you, what is your answer? My God, what is, yeah, to avoid
Apply
conflict.
water. Water seems to help, you know.
It does.
Like water.
It does. Tell me about it. I love water. Yes, it does. So in a way, water represents also this. I think it was Bruce Lee. Be like water. He said, "There's the
Mm,
truth to that, right? Just flexible, adaptable, open
absolutely.
again, receptive. Do not try to get caught anywhere. Water never gets caught anywhere. So it's always,
Yeah, absolutely. I do feel
mm,
that. I do feel there's such wisdom in water.
yeah,
And I would say water has been my teacher, especially
uh,
more in the past few years. And that's the way I've been guided
mm,
spiritually. Yeah, absolutely is yeah, like Bruce Lee and understanding that, yeah, in his philosophy or the Tao and these ways of this watery wisdom that I feel, yeah, that it's like, what do you do? It's like, I don't know, let's try to be like water and
yeah,
see what happens,
just
you know?
yeah, flow with it. Yeah, that's a beautiful.
Oh,
Yeah, I can hear, I can see the wisdom there. So wisdom
mm.
really helps, I live when navigating this reality here. We go
Yes.
back to wisdom.
Yeah.
Let's be wise
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
Yeah, wisdom helps, and I do experience it as true that wisdom rises from our reconciling our inner tensions or
Mm,
our wounds. You know, the
yeah.
resolution of the wound, wisdom naturally rises.
Yes. Yes, right. That's why the work of healing is so important, isn't it?
So important.
Doing
Yeah,
that work, yeah, it has been
absolutely.
it has been wonderful to be in your presence and to have this sacred dance.
Thank you. I
That's what
love
it.
connecting with you.
Yeah, you really feel to me like I mean, to the core of it, the nature itself. It's interesting when,
Mm,
yeah, I came across your work because I have a team and they do a lot of the backstage work. They do it, so I
yeah.
don't get to know a lot about my guests before I meet them, but
Mm,
there's something about you before seeing your image or reading that much that came to me like this
wow.
energetic resonance of
Oh,
mystery
wow.
first. It was very mysterious too. um,
Wow.
but yeah, nature. It's you're a beautiful representative of nature.
Wow, thank you so
Simple.
much. And I told you this before too, but I really felt I was very much looking forward to this, and I've only just appreciated you more and more deeply. You're a beautiful, beautiful soul.
Oh, wow. Yeah. You're just seeing the unified field again, right? What is here, it's here. It's sacredness meeting sacredness.
Oh, thank you
That's
so much.
beautiful when it happens. It's magical when it happens because now we are usually in the mind and creating separations and just seeing with the physical eyes. But there's something
Mm,
when we see with the heart, with the soul. It just changes everything. We're seeing the same thing, but from a different perspective.
yeah,
Very different.
absolutely.
So thank you for your contribution to life itself as a partner, as a
Oh, thank
as a
you.
friend, not just a friend, life itself. You're just being the support that life needs, and I love this sense of being guided. How you just surrendered yourself to the guidance of the ancients of the higher soul of
Mm,
hmm,
thank you so much, Valeria, and thank you for your contributions too. It's so funny. I was about to say to humanity and spirit, just almost put in my mouth. Thank you so much for your contributions to Hawaii. So
ah
interesting.
yes
And it almost just
ah,
came out of my mouth. Thank you so
yeah
much for your contributions. So I'll just say it to Hawaii.
yeah
And
ah,
I
yeah.
have a feeling, yeah, there's going to be just a blossoming healing center there. And I'll look forward to seeing you there.
Gosh, and I'll let you know. I'll definitely let you know.
Yeah.
Let everybody know, but especially, yeah. Oh, I can't wait. So you have a beautiful day where you are there. But
You too.
I will end here, but I'm still here. So don't go away.
Okay.
We'll talk. I'll talk
Okay.
to you in a moment.